All the same.
A little bit better with the table. Should have had that last one. Sorry.
Not gonna ask any questions.
You're not. No. It's just fine.
I need a wide angle.
Let's go down to Commissioner's Court. Just Tuesday, July 23rd, 9 a.m. July 23rd, 2024. Call the roll. Here. Here. Join us in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and honor.
Please, Father, we give you thanks for this day. This day that you have given us to make our decisions that will govern our county for the next year. Lord, be with us as we make these decisions. We give you thanks for this moisture that you have brought us to nourish our land and grow our crops. And most of all, dear Lord, we're thankful for our first responders. May you keep them within your protective hand. And Lord, we ask you to heal this land. For we are in turn from East Coast, West Coast, Canada, and Mexico. Please be with us all and help us to preserve our natural born rights and protect our Constitution. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Commissioners, we have a for public comment from the gentleman, Mr. Bud Wymore, Deerfield, Texas. And he wants, on the question, which agenda item to address, he wants to address this request, which I don't think is on the agenda here. So I'll leave it to you to decide if you want to hear from him or not. Anyone? I'm sorry.
I don't.
You don't mind? Okay. Anyone else? Any objections? All right. What did we do with the podium? We don't have one today. Then fine. Mr. Wymore, you just, speak for where you are.
Judge, I appreciate it. Commissioners, thank you for your time and consideration on the agreement. To the invocation that was made, I think it's wonderful. I think it speaks to the tone that we need in this country. This is not necessarily here, but yes, Judge.
Just so you know, we have a 3-minute time limit. Ms. Harrison usually keeps track of that.
Yes, Commissioner. I'll be brief. I'm here because I represent folks that have filed the petition to incorporate the house. And I think that this court and this community, as much as possible, is supposed to hear what we clearly believe is the right. And that is under the local government code, when an individual files a petition that is supported with the requisite number of inhabitants, then the requirement is that an election be held. And a petition was filed supported by evidence of 201 inhabitants, which would be more than sufficient to call the election. If that petition is to be denied, then there must be facts that support that there aren't the requisite number of inhabitants in the Hobbs area, the area that is supposed to be involved. In situations like this, when evidence is supported that the requisite number of inhabitants exists, the correct thing to do, the right thing to do, in my opinion, is to allow a vote. There are citizens of this county that have come together that have presented this information, and they should be afforded the opportunity to vote up or down on whether or not they want their community to be incorporated. If they decide they don't want to be incorporated, that's their decision. But if they do, they should be afforded the opportunity to vote. I appreciate your time, and if anyone has questions, I believe my contact information is on the information submitted to the Commissioner's Court. Happy to answer them, and of course, there's going to be a hearing on August 7th that Judge Bray has called, where these issues will be addressed. Thank you.
Mr. Ashby in the room somewhere. Mr. Ashby, have you been working on this item?
Yes, Your Honor.
What part do the commissioners play in this?
They do not legal scope.
Okay. Item 1 of your agenda, is consideration of the meeting.
Is it moved to expand and give them? So,
There a second? Second. Commissioner, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2. There are a couple of line items.
Make a motion to ratify the line item transfer as presented.
There a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Pay bills and outstanding bills.
I'll make a motion to ratify the bills in the amount of $15,650.75 and pay the outstanding bills in the amount of $183,62.56.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. Is this working out for, you? This bifurcated process, we get some bills paid?
Yes.
Immediately?
Yes.
Anything else? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. 4. This is just I don't know what to do. See it. Well, it says it's me and the treasurer, but the truth is, it's the purchase order queen. And Strickland wants everyone to know that the United States submit purchase order request for this budget year is August 30th, 2024. So, any of you all in departments in the town have something you need to purchase, the purchase order needs to be in the next 38 days, I think. Anything else? Anybody have any comments? 296. Authorization to issue request for proposal for administrative service. That's number 5. Big word. On this spot. Should there, my policy, if it's both my right here, if I'm seeing the news, I can see it. No, he's not. Okay. Well. If James comes in, former commissioner precinct 2, then I'll request that I go back to this item. Take an opportunity to acknowledge him, but since he's not here, so wanted to present this check, which will go to the Blanco County Emergency Service District number 2 to pay for development, construction, and completion of the helipad project near the Security State Bank and Dollar General facilities that are off of 281 and Blanco Avenue on the north side. The check is from the Capital Area Housing Finance Corporation, which Blanco County is there's either 8 or 10 counties. I want to say there's 8, there may be 10 counties that are reaching out. And every so often, and the Housing Finance Corporation is involved in projects and developments for affordable housing throughout the capital area. And on occasion, even though they're not, they have extra funds that they come by and they distribute it out to the counties. In our case, we designated that helipad as the project to be funded, and it will go through the Emergency Services District, and the check is in the amount of $100,000. So, and Commissioner Smiley has been spearheading the project, mostly with ESD number 2, and we're going to think this will cover that project, right?
Probably. Yeah, they cover part of it.
So that's it, and that was for just one question about it. So now we can go to item 6. This is one that I am more than willing to defer to Ms. Bryan and our guests today, Michael Sledge, who is a representative of GrantWorks, who can explain it better, but essentially, this allows us to go out and seek folks that will find us grants. I think that's put it Michael, you want to say anything or two?
Sure. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Michael Smith, and I'm Public Service Manager for Grant Works. Thanks for allowing me to speak today. If you're not familiar with Grant Works, Grant Works is an organization that's located in Austin, Texas. It was established in 1970. We specialize in grants management and administration. We do more than write grants, we manage the process of the contract. Grant Works has managed and secured projects exceeding over $10 billion since 1979 in community development, housing, planning, disaster recovery, emergency equipment, mitigation, economic development, broadband, just to name a few. We are an organization that has 15 fully staffed divisions in various focus areas. We're one of the nation's most successful grants management and administrative providers. We have a team of over 350 specialists and experts across a broad range of topics.
Yeah, just interrupt you. And shortcut just a little bit.
Okay.
This authorization, to request, for issuing a request for proposal is open to anybody, right? A request for proposal can be submitted by any. That is correct. So Grant Works doesn't. Grant Works is just a potential competitor for the proposal, correct?
That is correct.
And all that Grant Works has done so far is provide us with a free brochure and make the county aware that there's these programs out there of which you're one provider.
That is correct.
And so if the court authorizes us to issue a request for proposal, and we have the documentation to do that with, Grant Works might or might not make a proposal.
That is correct. And what we're talking about here is that it's a community development grant through Texas Department of Agriculture. I first talked to the judge and staff, the maximum amount of the grant is $100,000. We were just informed this week that the maximum amount of the grant is now $750,000. And there is a match of 2% for the county. So the county will put in $15,000. And if you award it, the grant will get $750,000. Now, there are some requirements around to get the grant. But the very first thing that you want to do is what we call authorization. And what authorization does, it says that the county is interested in moving forward with requesting proposals and requesting qualifications process. So what that means is you want to bring administrator for the grant and the engineering firm because of the equipment. And there is a cap on what you pay for administration and engineering. And the other important aspect here is if the county is not awarded a grant, then there's no obligation to the county. So what it means is up front, you get quite a bit of work done up front at no cost to the county.
So Ms. Fry, you have sort of inherited some of the grant processes going on with the county right now. Would you say to the commissioners that somebody, whether it's Grant Works or somebody that administers this program the way you just described would help us?
Well, yeah, especially for this specific grant, because it's very competitive and it's a point system that you can win or lose by 1 point, and they know companies like there know all the specific items that would benefit to, make you get a greater chance of actually getting the grant. The other thing is they are going to help us figure out what the actual project that we want to do that would be most likely to get the grant.
I'm starting to remember our conversation, roads came up a lot.
Yes, no, there's definitely items that we can find that we want to do, like roads, drainage.
And as I was walking in the door this morning, I may have misheard you. I thought I heard you say that it is very recently increased.
Yes. Yeah,
550,000
to
to,
750.
so. Is there any other commissioners about why this is not a good deal?
I can't take it away.
Question? Comment? Concern? Motion?
So there's no projects specifically designed for this grant as of right now, correct?
There's target items that are in the top, they have tiers of projects that are gonna get greater points. So there's a list of items that are in the target ones that are the higher points, which is what you wanna do so that you can get the grant. The roads, drainage, the,
It's continued. So it's flood drainage improvement, sewer improvement, street improvement, homeless facility, and health facility. Those are the projects, as determined by the call.
but I went to a meeting for this grant and within those items, it gets very detailed. There's a lot of items that we can do in those areas.
You have flexible.
Yes.
So I'll make a motion to approve for authorization to issue a request for proposals for administrative services and a request for qualifications for engineering services for grant pre-applications, application and implementation services for Texas Community Development Grant Program for 2025-2026 Community Development Fund. It is.
Is there a second? Second. Commissioner Riley, discussion? This is just this is just one thing that we're talking about today.
It's just, it's all right.
It's sort of precedent for
Yes,
a future relationship. Maybe.
but every grant you do this, when you can do it but right now, the way it's every grant. Kind of ask for authorization.
Sure, but if we're successful this time.
Yeah.
It portends future success.
Yeah.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 7 is, just today, I received, acknowledging, chief observation. Is he still here?
No.
Okay, thank you. So,
So make a motion to acknowledge the administrative order appointing Adrian Eastman as interim chief juvenile probation officer effective July 8, 2024.
sorry. Eager discussion, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 8, increase in jury pay, from $58 to $60 has a lot of benefits, but and most, they're like logistic benefits. Easy processing yours. Yeah, so, and it's also, if I'm not mistaken, if taking it to 60 brings us in line with the other counties in the Fort County, some of the counties in the Fort County district. Brings us in very good. County already.
Move to authorize the district clerk to increase the jury pay for the second day of service and subsequent days from $58 to $60 effective immediately.
Is there a second? Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I think in the package we have a letter announcing retirement by Judge Bob Riley. It was in the back of the room, And, which pretty unusual. And he's, wanting to make his, effective date, the 27th, 2024.
So I'll move to acknowledge the retirement letter submitted by Justice of the Peace Precinct 4, Judge Riley, to be effective August 27, 2024.
Second. Discussion. I bet Judge Riley has some discussion.
Yeah, sure. Well, I just want to thank the county. I appreciate the court going down there and giving all the stuff they're giving. Tommy was a big factor in that for us. Also, Judge Ray, and I really got to appreciate what they've done for us down in South Carolina. I really appreciate it.
That's it.
Sure. There's a good part of it.
Now, who is that you're retiring? LBJ's birthday.
The account have an answer.
Well, I'm, if you'll forgive me for labeling this, I'm gonna go ahead and see if Judge, if your cohort, Judge Broadbeck, has anything to say about you.
Well, well, no.
We have a motion on the floor to accept, Judge Riley's retirement letter. And second, is there further discussion? Other than, I feel like it would be inappropriate if we went through with this motion without at least thanking you for your service. So 26 years is a long time, and you know, you've done a lot for a lot of people through that office, but if there are things you've done that you don't know you did and we don't know you did, we don't know how it affected people. Some of those letters you make people write, I will not 100 times. I don't know what all you've done, and I feel confident that there is something that people down there will experience. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir. It's pretty.
Is there anything else? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10 involves the purchase of a vehicle and bunker vehicle for fire marshal. We got a price on the vehicle that he was driving, but he felt like that was the problem. This vehicle seemed to be the price, and the gear already is customized to him, so it kind of makes sense that it would go with him. Otherwise, we just have to replace it. And Carrie could make a motion to authorize the purchase.
I'd like to make a motion to purchase the 2015 Chevrolet Tahoe and $13,950 and $100,000 for fire marshal and for Butler County ESP2.
Is there a second?
Second.
From ESP.
Yeah.
Anything else? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 11, see, Ms. Ashby's in here, Anderson's in. I think it was Thursday of last week, I was having a conversation with our engineer. I'm sorry, we do have our engineer, our architect today. Some of the conversation with them, trying to convey some of the questions that Mr. Richmond had at our last meeting, safety of various people in the building at this point in time. And, went through kind of a long discussion with Mr. Smith and Mr. Klein, and out of that, I think came their reduced or repeated interest in trying to do something quickly, and they felt like the purchase order processes of the state. So we got to looking at it, and there is an exemption to competitive bid requirement, which kicks in after the project gets to the $50,000 mark. If there is a public safety component, I researched it and consulted with the county attorney who confirmed that this project seems to qualify that category. And it would require, under the statute, it requires the commissioner's court to actually declare that there is a need to preserve protect the public safety of the residents of Broward County in order to relax the bidding requirements. In particular, and I would encourage you to ask Mr. Smith and Mr. Klein these questions, but in particular, they have already been in consultations with someone who can undertake the phase one part, which is the jacking up the stabilization a couple of fairly quickly. And if I'm not mistaken, the rough estimates of that are in the maybe less than 100, maybe more than 80,000. Does that sound about right?
I think that 80 to 90 was that range.
And so, if the court agrees to exempt it, then we can right away. Well, right away as close as because we still got to get past that. Do you want to take it from here?
Well, I'm saying, I know the architect, he's the guy that actually is going to be safer. There's Jeff Smith standing behind. Tomorrow, he is going to get up in the courthouse with a steel man who's going to provide steel. But the process that we're doing now primarily is to shore up and protect the cola from doing anything that potentially could cause with the equipment, so it could collapse or something would go wrong. When we were up there, we observed the rotation and we called the buckling of the steel members that are up there.
Oh, I'm going to get too much detail on it because it's going to kind of present phase two and talking about the steel and all of that, which you're going to be getting into this, but for now, for the purposes of this part, you have a company in mind that you want us to engage. Yes?
Yes.
And that company you worked with before?
We have, and they did all the steel work at the headquarters at PEC, and we bought in large steel movers while the building was still being on. And so I've got a lot of experience with it, so with Jeff. And they'll do the job quickly and move on. And that's what we want to do, to stabilize that city and having court sessions in that room.
So I'm getting asked, I got asked yesterday about who needs to relocate, who needs to be out of the courthouse, or who has to be out of the courthouse, who can be in the courthouse. And for us to actually know that, don't we need to get on the board and for them to tell us how they're going to do that kind of tells us what offices are affected.
It's the means and methods that we obviously are demonstrating to them in plans. That this is what needs to be done there. as to what, how much of the building needs to be occupied or not. I think we could be visit with them and mark the contract, we'll put pricing together and we can have a, you know, what I call a pre-contract discussion. There'll be a proposed contract that your county attorney will review, but the price has to be reviewed for the scope of work and what's gonna happen. I wanna make sure that when they leave, it's in good condition and look attractive, except you'll see these two four legs coming from the ceiling and temporarily showing the roof up. So the sequence would be to identify costs, the scope of work, which would answer the question about who should be in the building and who shouldn't.
Now, once that has happened, it's safe. Yes?
Yes.
And that's why I'm telegraphing for the commissioners and for the auditor and county attorney. That's why, phase two, which is big fix and the more permanent fix, will be bid.
Right. In fact, it'll return it back to the appearance that you see now. It's like replacing air conditioning. No one knows where all that money goes, but it feels better. That cupola up there, we can try to restore it. And take the measures with phase two to take care of the ceiling. Mark will find out how those guys are going to do the seal. And the judge brought up the point that it may come in from above for phase two, which means we've got another work that we would have to do. So the objective is my job is to document the metal itself and to make sure that we're not having any failure of the metal surfaces, because that whole book is flat and metal as well. And so that's going to be two parts of it: the structural solution and then the actual protective long-term protection of the cupola itself. So you don't have to go back up there other than put in paint everything.
But for this part right now, the phase one part, I can keep up with you.
Yes.
If the commissioners were, could they authorize a contract with your selected contractor not to exceed an amount and subject to Ms. Ashby's review? And at that point, we can get started.
That's right.
Leaving out.
You'd like for that to be achieved last week. We know it takes a little bit of sequence of time.
How long is it gonna, is there a ballpark on how long the project's gonna take on that first phase of shoring it up?
I wouldn't venture a guess. I don't think it would take long, and by that I would say 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks at the most. I believe that is the estimate.
They're to be opening the ceiling and getting all the work done from inside, would be moving furniture, closing off sections of it, so all the dust and everything. It'll be secure, but the sequence after they put in the seal is to go ahead and put the ceiling back up, so it looks acceptable for the pollution.
And there was a steel exposed mold ceiling, but. Obviously.
Put the ceiling back up. Won't you be taking it back down again when you go in again?
Probably.
Seems like double work. I mean, it's a question of,
Well, they'd be from above in phase two, but they'd still have to take the steel out. Part of that ceiling would be affected against. I don't know how much of an area they need to remove. I think the cupola area is like 15 by 15, 18 by 18, which is essentially a floor in the center, and we go straight over.
search for putting the ceiling back and showing the poles. Either we're going to use it in the state of district here, or not, and I'm not sure the aesthetics of whether the. See,
I'm sure you want to close it out for acoustical benefit of the court. You know, I don't see value in it. Historically, that's how those courtrooms are built.
Anyone?
So the only concern I have, and it's nothing to do with that part of it, but is the procurement process from the meeting you did yesterday. If there would be any impact in that, I don't know that there would, but that's just my own concern.
Yeah,
I mean, it is what it is.
the one I feel like, and I guess I raised it yesterday, but I feel like it's really almost eye-opening that they're going to provide any assistance for it.
Not for this part of it, but for the replacement of the roof line, of the roof. I believe that will, I know, but it's, it might go hand in hand, it's just how they,
And I thought I read one in that brochures yesterday that talked about, exemptions for public safety issues.
and it could be emergency, it could be, just, I just want to bring it up.
Yeah. Um,
Did either one of y'all feel that there would be an issue with the procurement side of it? Doing it this way? No?
I think it would be separate project, just
Okay.
Let's think more than.
Okay.
well, you know, I don't dictate to you. I feel like if you were mind to approve a contract, and can you identify the contractor that you're selecting?
Door construction and the Ripley Springs. And speaking to the project manager for this project, he's got one meeting there with the final.
Like, what kind of number, if the commissioner wants us to be able to move forward speedily, what kind of not to exceed number do you think would work?
What kind of numbers do you what?
The not to exceed on the contract.
It'll be a little small.
For their purposes today, Jimmy said they were about to exceed.
I don't know. You know.
You be comfortable with that?
I am. This. Something will be working with, I understand you need to have a maximum.
I think we might even have that on a special meeting to approve it, because I'm aware of the way the agenda is written. To add that to it, I don't feel comfortable adding that to it.
Okay. You're mistaken, okay.
Okay. I'll make a motion to grant an exemption to competitive bidding requirements for the shoring of the structure for the cupola repairs at the courthouse based on the need to preserve and protect the public safety of the residents of Blanford County.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. So. Okay. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. So I guess we'll be waiting. Is actually working on a contract.
I'll send you the number first. But I'll be prepared and stand.
While you're here, is there anything else you?
All I'd like to say is that if anybody's interested in structural minutia, if you want to talk with that, about what I think is going on up there, I'm happy to hang around and discuss it with y'all. And then we will kind of just bore everybody to death
Well, everybody's interested, if you want to just mention it, if you want to tell us what you think is going on.
Quickly, I'll try to be as quick as I can. A little fundamental structure and stuff. If you look at just a simple roof frame, you've got rafters, you've got ceiling joints that go across. The rafters want to push down, the ceiling joints prevent it from pushing out. What that means is your rafters are in compression, your ceiling joints are in tension. And anything that is in compression, it's like a column. Things in compression can fail in two ways. If they're real short, they just fail in compression. You just push whatever it is that you're pushing down. If it's long and slender, like a yardstick, let's just say, you push down on it, it will bubble. Everybody intuitively knows that it will just bubble before it crushes. So you've got rafters that are in compression and they're long and slender, and if they're side to side, they can bubble. Since they're in compression, they can bubble out of plane just like that yardstick. And the courthouse, the rafters slow up, then the flat across the top, and then slow back down again to the opposite wall. They're in compression, and they weren't braced. Flat and then button, and they're buttoning like 8 inches or so from the alignment. From a structural perspective, and I think you could kind of think, if you have a truss and you load it up, it's going to be the worst fit. You push down, and once it buckles, you don't have a lot of strength with it. So when these rafters buckle out of planes, they lost a tremendous amount of their structural integrity. That makes any sense.
Could you not go in there and put a strong back in there to support your rafters back to each other?
There are ways that you could go in there. What in 97, those members were like double 212s. There's actually a set of double 212 trusses, if you want to call it that. And then in between the two spaces of just 2 to 10 rafters, 2 to 12 across the top, and then 2 to 10 rafters down. Then there's another one that comes along. So they're every third spacing. Evidently in 97, there was repair work in the courthouse. And the people that did that work realized at the time that there were structural issues with that. What they did was they came in and they put 4-inch thick, 12-inch steel plates on each side of those double duct members and bolted them together to try to strengthen them. And but they didn't brace them, so they buckled up. In 2022, another structural survey was done, and those guys saw it. What I'm relating to you now, I confirmed it, but guys in 2022 saw it and recognized it and noted it in the report. They came up with a series of, step back to 97. When I was having, here's where I'll just get over the weeds to that. When I was talking about the ceiling joints being in tension, in this case, the courtroom is parallel vaulted just like this ceiling is. So you can't come straight across with a horizontal tie, tension tie. So what they did is they had a series of rods that go down, that they kind of just clear the ceiling for the tension members for the bottom of these quote-unquote trusses. So they added that to the, well, then in 2022, the guys had proposed there was a system of going in and trying to shore and race and add level racing and do all these sorts of things to try to stabilize it. What I'm proposing is just coming in on both sides, on east and west sides of the cupola, and putting in what I call bent beam. A bent beam is just a regular high beam, wide point as we call it, but it is cut and welded in the profile. So that's why they call it bent beam. A bent beam, the east and west side of the cupola, and then span across at the location where those rafters come and slope up and then go horizontally. There's a double 2 beam that spans that 18-foot dimension we mentioned earlier. And what I was proposing is put these bend beams that span 53 feet all the way from the front wall to the, or from the south wall to the north wall on each side of the cupola. And then right underneath the existing double 2 put a new steel beam in under it that spans from bend beam to bend beam to just completely then support the cupola on new steel structure. And basically then the framing that's there is not having to support the weight of the cupola, it's just supporting the weight of the roof. And it takes all that cupola load off. So that's what we're proposing for the phase 2 fix.
So will they be prefab bent beams or will you be
Yes.
will they be bolt on together? I mean, prefab multiple ways, you know, prefab as it's already constructed and welded together, or will it be something that you put in there and bolt together?
They would just weld it off, they would bat it on site and bring it in there on trucks and fly it. They have to open up the roof to do
Right,
it.
right.
And if y'all want to see, I can show you a picture of that.
No, I understand what you're saying.
See,
Your objective is trying to get the load back from the walls,
Right,
and that's what you have here. That's what the vaulted ceiling does, it vaults to the roof. And that's what you, that's what's designed.
I just, dealing with the last project we worked on, which had a really weird roof line, comes up and then it pops up as like a cupola. And those were bolted in, you know, they were fabricated, they all bolted together, and it's a very tricky, installation process. But, so I'm fine with them fabricated as well. And cheaper.
and again, contractors. I'm constantly amazed at what they can do. And we worked in the church in Fredericksburg here recently. And the cupola, they would really do some work on it. There was a discussion made where they could unbolt it and just try to lift it off instead of on the ground and do the work and then fly it into place. And we had a big discussion about how we're trying to pull it out. Bitch that out here, we'll just scaffold it around the whole thing. Go around on the roof side, on the back side of the speedboard, yes. You'd have a clear span all the church, one side of it to the other, to be able to put the skies there to go up on that side. And it was probably 60 feet across there, and we were talking about there was a scaffold out there, and we were talking about the steel beam that span across there, and they're, you know, pretty big, 24-inch steel, pretty heavy steel, 5-inch beams. And they would need 2 of them, and we were sitting there looking at it saying, well, you know, guys, we're looking at power lines and trees and everything else, where the trucks would get in. And I said, no, we can do it. And the next time I was there, it was been done. So I say that in reference to this, these would be 53 feet long, 27-inch steel beams, pretty heavy beams. But these contractors, I think that they'll really want to. And I bet they can do it in one day.
You all said you might stay around for a while. We have a couple of items that may take us a while, but, if you do stay, There's another conversation we had with the question, it's not really about the courthouse, that you might be the perfect person to speculate and answer. Sure. Thank you. That takes us to item. We took this up last time. Abatements of property tax and child care centers. I'm double checking around, this is just for counties and cities, tax abatement, that the schools, which of course have the biggest tax impact on taxpayers. The way the statute actually reads, to qualify, be a qualifying facility, you have to meet two different things. You have to participate in the Texas Workforce Commission's Texas Rights to Start, and you have to have 20% of your total number of children enrolled receiving subsidized child care services from administered by the Texas Workforce Commission. I don't know of any. I've checked with a couple of county judges in counties our size. One in Archer County said they put out figures all over that nobody has any interest in it at all. In Callahan County, they I don't know if they have anybody that's qualified, but they did accepting these qualified child care facilities. And Callahan County is about 15,000, so they're close to. The only I checked with Ms. Lewis about the Head Start school, and it is physically located on property owned by a church. So I speculate that it's already receiving taxes in. I don't know about being blank over here. Haven't heard anybody say anything. Ryder, Mr. Ryder might be the right person, sort of the education guy for Blanco, South County. Do you know about any child care centers that might qualify for tax exemption? And none of the currently none of the home operating qualify. They're specifically excluded. Although I understand that there's an article that says that they may be included in the next legislative session.
I don't know of any off the top of my head, no.
So, does anyone have a thought about how to proceed?
The question I have is if a child care facility was to come to the commissioner's court or to the county and any aspect asking for it, what can we do at that time?
Say any reason why we couldn't do that. And help us to know.
Who qualifies?
Help us know that there is somebody in the county that does that. So that question, if someone's another idea, and possibly I'll check the box for saving the list that we're not doing it at this time. The interlocal between Blanco ISD and the county and sheriff's department, Sheriff Jackson. Constantly, you guys.
No, that's good.
I move to authorize the county judge to sign an interlocal cooperation agreement between Blanco ISD, Blanco County, and Blanco Sheriff's Office.
Can you tell us today how you're doing? I mean, there's sort of a firm requirement that each campus has to have a resource officer, correct?
Yes. A different program. See,
Guardian.
guardian, or there's another one that's even vision. Marshall, yes.
And you were gonna talk to the.
Yes, I have talked about it, and they're looking into it, they think they might have one or two, but, they've got to be on everything else, so. They don't know if they have that yet.
Could they be on one campus?
Yes.
One campus in that relieves having one.
Yes. Yes.
So are you, what's your promise? You're gonna have. This contract kicks in like the first of the school year, doesn't it?
Yes.
What's your confidence level that you're gonna have 3 SROs by the first of the school year?
Pretty good. Sure, I'll have a team. Who's good so far. And that's our off to a good position. It's right, on that off. There.
Motion and second discussion.
What's the penalty if you can't fulfill its position?
There is no penalty, it's not, that would be like to either get a guardian in place or we try to put somebody over there temporarily until it's filled.
With your current shortage, if we had to put somebody there temporarily until it's filled, what's that gonna do to your department?
Well, I wouldn't take anybody out of the field.
Anything else? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14, a variance to the subdivision.
So this is a unique piece of property that lies on Blanco Barnett County line. I was first approached about it, it was a 10-acre tract that is accessed off of Barnett County Road, that they were wanting to split into 2 tracts. I was anticipating 2 5-acre tracts. However, when they came back with a survey, it was a 6-acre and a 4-acre. Automatically, I told them that wasn't gonna fly in Blanco County, being a rural state that we have to have 5-acre tract. However, if you were in Barnett County, the minimum is 1-acre tract to have a well and septic. So, they came back and there's a house already positioned on 6-acre tract, which kind of interferes with splitting it 5 and 5. So, they want to have a 4-acre tract and have their septic in the Barnett County area. And then they can put a well in the Blanco County area. So at this point in time, since Barnett County doesn't have, Barnett County rules differ from Blanco County rules. I'd make a motion to allow a variance subdivision rules and regulations regarding lot 6A and Oaks at Spiceville subdivision to include but not limited to allow the division of a 10-acre tract into 4-acre and a 6-acre tract with a note stating the septic must be in Barnett County.
I'm stating it's general. Just pointing out to you, don't have to be that specific. Is there a second? Commissioner Weir, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
So got item 15 and 16, they're both, replats and Rock and J. Item number 15, I would like to approve to replat lots 388 and 389 in Rock and J subdivision to be known as 388A. Yes, sir.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Next one is a move to approve to replat lots 1750 and 1751 in Rockin' J subdivision, the new lot to be known as 1750A.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item 7. Spreadsheet I don't know, spreadsheet, see, tables from the previous meeting. When we added this, after the meeting, the quote came back from Kansas. Expensive, that we added to the gun count. Next week's package, increase it of course, but, it seemed pretty necessary to me because the existing system was analog. Jail was looking, you got to spend the I'm not advised to use analog back then, but that's what we did. So have to go to the digital system work because the answer service and parts of it. I'm saying that right as quickly as possible.
This is an hour meeting, yes, let's read it.
Sorry. We see some salary adjustments. The 2 salary adjustments. As you know, last year, we capped increases based, there was some salary study increases that would be more, they're pretty significant. We decided as a group to cap it at $6,000. And take that and buy it in 1 year, work out it next year. Well, this year, we have 2 employees left that are in that category of meeting big bucks, so 6,000. And in this case, they're more than 6,000. Let's see. Proposing those increases to Whiteville Mall. In addition, there are 6 or so elected officials who are also still behind the salary. So, but we, unlike the employees, we posting that we increase 2 to 6,000, and we still will not be caught up with the market or the standards, but it just seems like a more appropriate thing to do for elected officials is to continue to work on it gradually. Questions about that?
So the 2 salaries that increased was 105 and 112.
Correct.
Is there
the 105 is just a little over 6,000, I think.
Yeah. Is there any thought process to use SB 22 funds for the 112?
I did because it didn't cross my mind because we did this salary study and we started this program before the Senator Plum executive. So I left that out of the equation, but it's certainly valid.
There was a major increase last year, mid-year, to that salary.
Everything based on it. And so it happened for the sheriff's office took everything 22 months and did what we did in terms of the salary study recommendation. Now, I guess our saying, that for the budget, the salary and study recommendation, but this be 22. Guarantee by, I doubt it, they're gonna be, it's coming here. So that's why I'm proposing what I do. It's a, we're up to bid. We got to that salary through SB 22 money this year. While you're shooting, there's a minor thing. Missouri fund, as you see, it's increasing. We just took that action today, it goes to $60. Juvenile detention, the cost of housing juvenile offenders is astronomical, and it's, does nothing to go on. Somehow or other, the CDO training got left out of previous version that was submitted to you all, it's back in here now. They increase the insurance for suits, bonus. Very manual. So with the cleaning expense of the CRC. Some little set of them. Additional lines, full-time, but if you. So we thought the same, adjusted the part-time. At $30,000 for a vehicle for the firearms, so we've taken that. And what you approved today, this year's budget, purchase the used vehicle for the ESG. So, what else do you want to talk about?
And this is deadline is 31st, right? For years, for 5.
Yes, we can file a proposed budget. It's actually not. It's kind of clear as it used to be in statute. That's certainly my intent.
So on page 5, under your revenue, on 287, we can increase that to 47,500.
Yeah, 47.5.
47,500. And then under 288, you can increase that to 37,612.
Repeat, 30.
37,612.
Okay.
And then on page 6, the flood infrastructure fund grant that we're doing with Doucette. Do we have that in here? I didn't see it. So the grant total will be 250,000. The grant portion will pay out will be, well, the county's on the hook for 62.5. If we accept the grant, if we get the grant and we accept the grant, we would be on the hook for 62.5. 187.5 would be paid out of the grant.
That will be spent all in 1 year, or is this gonna?
I would think it would be all in 1 year.
See, they don't.
And no,
Yes.
but we can't. We can't recognize it as revenue until it's spent it, and if we're not gonna spend it in 1 year, we need to put it in a special fund, not in the general fund.
Okay. My assumption would be yes, I can't guarantee that. So if you wanna create a special fund for it, or if you want more clarification, I can reach out to Bissette and ask them.
We can do it in the end too. Next year, but we haven't done what we supposed to do.
But there's still the expenditure of 62.5 that we have budgeted for.
Yeah,
Where is that, what I imagine is the expenditure, special fund, because that's our contribution. Where's it coming
probably just need that the grant,
from? Sorry,
just net the grant,
okay, but
the revenue.
if I heard, when you're on the same page with you all, it's a $250,000 grant, but it requires a match on our part, so it's only $87,500. And 62.5 is our obligation. Where's the 62.5?
Where we said. This was that grant that, this is.
My job.
What was
Yeah,
that?
sure.
This is the, who said is working, and, we're not obligated to do it this time. If we receive it, we can either accept it or decline.
Uh, 62.5. Or what kind of grant is it?
It's a flood infrastructure fund, it's a Texas Water Development Board grant.
62.5. Grant. Department.
Yeah. Already created a new line item, grant expense in non-departmental
Grant what?
expense.
Okay,
When we had to do that for the grant that we did for Hill Country.
so we just add this money to that line.
We can,
And that's good.
yeah,
And then the special fund, see. 187.5.
go ahead.
If it's gonna go over a year. I think we can sure about that.
If you put the 62.5 in, you need to put the whole 250. Revenue.
We're right.
Right. 250 in the revenue line. 62.5 in non-departmental, 75 in special expense. Yes. If it's gonna be more. Yes.
Considering that, on page 8, considering that you want to make this published next week. I'd like to go ahead and change 101 to match the, 10,458 funds.
4.5%.
No, the 6,000, the same as the commissioner. It
Okay.
would be 73,112. Yes.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, and one abstention. IT, the the position that listed on the county judge's page, and it was just a placeholder that we had, and I, if we can go through with that, we probably get a department page. But I think that, Ms. Williams, myself, probably at the same time, but, and this would too, but I worry that it fluctuates here. But it seems that in the current times, we are spending enough on IT to merit that kind of expense. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
And so I still think we need to be thinking down the line about service levels and coverage of IT issues. But for the moment, my thinking is that when we file this, we take that IT director out this year. Anybody have a comment?
We just contracted with the right to have an issue.
We budgeted. One probably should go. This one. This year's.
Just not dated yet.
Yeah. Yeah, should go be the day and staff. And that they may have already been here and very right now. But I don't see putting it in there this year, and it's numbers that we have.
Before we leave that page, the overtime. Before we leave this page, the overtime that we talked about last, wasn't added to this agenda. Before we leave the judge's page.
Oh.
There's a lot of comp time that's on the books, so in order to just either prevent the comp time.
I don't have the number, I sent it with me, but we were gonna add overtime to this budget and non-departmental, we can get rid of the one-time. So I think it was, I think it was $8,000 or $9,000.
I think that's what it was to add. Yeah, Don,
So
I mean, y'all gotta come with that. You get with me later?
Yes,
just generally.
yes. And you can delete the 17 of one-time payout on the non-departmental.
Because there just isn't any there.
We're gonna say pay out.
And we're done.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay.
So on your changes made, change number 36, what department is that came to?
What?
On your changes, line item 36, change 36. Oh, I'm sorry, there's a lot of 36s.
Yes, it's the page
The
there.
handheld, so it's page there's a handheld radio and programs. That's page 32.
Yes. For the fire marshal. Second to last entry.
Sure.
Yes.
You want to take a minute and talk to the commissioners about cadet, a cadet.
Yeah, there's a couple of things. That movement was the program we have now. We request 6,000. Usually they have to with it for about a year and either in the jail or dispatch before we send them to the academy. What I'm likely to do, a lot of other people are is actually either paying for somebody to go through the academy with the workforce. sign some or some kind of agreement that they'll establish this. Another suggestion, a lot of people, we actually pay them to go through. The vacancies I have is store them in that line. But not at that, there'd be a minimal pay, but we pay for they're going through the 7 month, 8 month cap. And then at the same deal, they agree they stay at least 2 years. Now, there's never any teeth in it, but there is teeth in it as far as long when they're getting hired somewhere else. Because if I ever say another sheriff, chief of police, well, you can't take it to work, that's a pretty big kick on their hiring. So most of them are gonna stay legally. You might be civil to get them to pay, but it's just. Do what? Yes.
Let me do this for a second.
All right.
You find a person.
Gonna be a little over, probably 21. Yeah, 21 and a half.
Find
Yeah.
And you interview and.
Do background.
Great.
Mhm.
You hire them as a cadet deputy.
Yes,
And why says deputy for they live in Hispanic.
right,
That have a base salary of 50s right now.
yeah,
Okay, and you pay them to go to school every day, but you're paying them at maybe what a beginning to jail. Dispatch. Pay them the base salary of the dispatch.
yes.
They're still in that line item, they're just not making.
They're not $1 million.
So you pay them to go to school every day. How long is the base?
7, 8 months.
Months.
And it's full time.
And then they go to school, they get out, and you pay for school
Yes,
also.
yes.
And they get out, supposedly they have a commitment to it. So, and that's when they can rise to base pay.
Starting deputy. Which I think is good for the business.
And we had this discussion, and I don't know that there's, I don't even know if this is court matter or policy or maybe part of the US department of your department. What it's for. But I thought it was a good idea. The transparency to everybody.
Yes, yeah, I'm already allotted 2 positions to pay for 2 positions. Right now, I have a need that actually meet the requirements. And I've actually lost an employee because of the requirements I have. Our employment was an excellent. So I think this is what, as hard as recruiting has become across the nation, peace officers. I think this is one way to help. And we'd be able to fill positions. I would rather have more experience, but if this is, at least we could try them the way we want. I don't know what else to do, but just reaching out there trying to be able to do it. It's very competitive nationwide.
Everything.
Yeah, during our conversation, you mentioned that our starting deputy pay would be in 58 something.
Well, and starting, I think it's would be with 4.5% be 55.
55, 53.
Right, and said 58, as I was thinking, is that everybody be at 58 and change, even your most recent figures.
Right.
But yes, it would be 55.
Okay.
Something was.
That would put us lower than anybody around. by a long shot. And also, you still have a SRO officer starting at 63. Can we take that money off them and get everybody to 58 plus? Because I don't, I'm gonna lose officer if we're paying 63 whatever for an SRO. Well, that's $8,000.
So what's your plan for your Senate Bill 22 money?
Well, it depends on this budget.
Because I mean, obviously, the proposed budget is less than what they're making right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're gonna use some of your Senate bill money to bring them up to what you, to what they're making currently, because you gave them a raise halfway through last year.
At least that. Yeah.
And then you're probably gonna give them some more,
Well,
because
well, I'm just asking like at least close to what line, which is the other low. But this is actually, it's happening.
but there's ways you can do it with your Senate Bill 22 money.
There's ways.
Like you did last year, have it.
Yes, there's.
The rule was 63, 125, 71.
Right. That was the goal.
From 55 to 63 is $8,000 difference. I don't like that. I almost took bad. I don't like the idea that I get the SRO money and spread it out, because it just agreed on the contract at the 63 rate.
No, they agreed with them for.
Yeah.
Argument.
So they agreed to pay 80% of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Is the 4.5%. Could y'all use the Senate bill money to pay the difference, or give them a, you call it bonus or whatever, to keep them at that rate, as long as the money, but have it separate from the 4.5%, so that we can budget based off of that. The 4.5%, if you want to borrow some difference, you can do that as long as the money is. Or
This is still lower than anybody.
well, you have Senate, you're Senate.
Okay, it's Senate. Right. And you're right, the Senate bill is supposed to be used for, to be competitive.
Could you take that and carry it and say, look, you stay with us, I'll give you this amount of money. And
At this point,
I don't.
right, at this point in time, this fall,
Just looking at different ways.
Yeah.
Practically, that have but
There's a few things that's kind of accounted for, because most of the employees have already written to the folder longevity status, so the least they're getting is 5.5. Yes.
I'm sorry, it was.
Anybody before you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Right. But and I'm here to tell you, I think I said two leaving. I mean, this is getting pretty serious. And they're retiring, one of them's moving to the feds, which he's more than qualified to do. We have raised him since 18 in the jail. I cannot stand to lose it.
can you come that as being that here?
No,
No,
well, that starts with an effect. When I mean, the problem with using the SB on the call side is there is equipment that I could definitely request or help pay for with that, where it doesn't come up. Oh, it's either way, is gonna be used, whether the county pays for equipment or it pays for salary. All I'm asking is kind of meeting them. The $350,000 one way benefit the county. What I was asking, and that's why I was involved, is when, or for, our conversation last week, it's a 58.94. Well, that gets us close. I mean, Lano's at 61,225. San Saba is actually 58, I believe. I can't compete. There's no. So that's what I'm asking. But we can advertise, and we can use try to use every bit of it. And there's still gonna be back pay. I've got tons of back pay. Unused.
So, I don't take away this discussion in your argument, but I want to make sure that this time, I think we agree. If not, I think when you find a guy that's been a state trooper, deputy sheriff in New Mexico for 25 years, wants to relocate to Central Texas, and you can expect to hire him at the starting salary, right?
If that's all I have, no, that's all I can do.
Well, today, you have a today, you're at 70s. 77% of the budget here, when you're back in the 60s, I think. So if you have money, what's the money that you could hire? Seems to me you could hire a very experienced person for more than you pay between $20 and
Yes.
I didn't put at the point of the salary study, have this range, and try to qualify people, pay them more. And then as far as the next year's salary, that's when you get a budget time, you get somebody that's making X plus. Right?
Okay, but with that,
So I don't disagree with your struggles, good people, but as far as when we're talking about not the basic person,
Right.
or more experienced person, I feel like I thought that range gave us the competitiveness with plan.
There's 13 open positions that would have money to pay.
so you're saying.
We do, we have a function, we can't transfer this money.
What I'm saying, if you don't hire a person
Right.
until December in an open line, you still have that whole amount to pay them from December to September. And then in September, when we come back here, that person is back in with their bank.
I see what you're saying.
Okay. That's what it has to be within that certain line item. You can't transfer money from line item to line item, which we ran into before, we discussed that. Okay, so here's what I posed to you. So let's say we find somebody, like you're saying, that has years of service, great guy, hiring him, okay? And he's got 15 years with Austin PD, and so we want to bump him up. And so we give him some credit and we bump him up a little bit, okay? We want to bring this guy in. But we have all these employees that are currently working with us who have years of experience and never got the bump up. So now we're going to start a guy more than what they're making, and they've got 15 years in El Paso. They got 15 years in San Antonio. How do you think that's going to go?
We hired her before, salaries a day.
Cost of living adjustment every single year. And again, in 15 years, that means they've had 11 years of longevity pay. 2 of those years are not 1%. They're 2%.
375 and 2.
I mean, you're getting some pretty good bumps. I've seen a person that's been here 15 years.
Come here.
We hired him 2 years ago. He brought with him actually 20 years of experience in health cancer sheriff. He started out the beginning, bad. Difficult.
Yeah.
No, we didn't have it at the time. We didn't have the compensation at the time. We hadn't done the salary study at the time we hired him.
I think that's what you do to the judge at budget time, and you say, I have this employee who has this, and this is what I propose the salary.
Yeah.
Oh, one of your deputies is 80.
Yeah, Jimmy and I,
Yeah, look at their salary. Jimmy's is over 80.
Jimmy is the top, he's the longest ever.
He is above those fees, he's above those, and
And he did that by longevity.
Something I'm saying.
Well, I wanted to just ask a question because a while ago, Sheriff, you stated that the SRO officers, their job is different than a deputy because it's with the school, basically. So I don't feel like that we should start an SRO officer out at what a deputy gets paid. They should maybe start out lower than that because their job is different.
Well, I think in the agreement on the contract, they should start out at what a beginning deputy is making.
I'll make this. Thought told me. Correct. That SRO was expected to be outfitted the same.
All the equipment,
If it's summertime, they don't finish.
yep.
If it's a wild, they're gonna be holding.
Mhm.
Making that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, for me, it didn't sound like they're that much.
No, it's just 9 months of the year, they're basically 8 to 5. Yes,
football game.
yes. Yes,
Will they be making those?
on some of them.
So should they be lowered to a starting deputy? Because that was the proposed that the sheriff was having.
But what I was understanding is the starting deputy was back 58. Not, which is very close to what I'm asking. We can make the rest of it up with the Senate Bill 22. But I would also be asking that for the SRO officers, not 63.
That was off of your page. The 63 came from off of your page. So a 109, a deputy, starting deputy we're proposing 54,590. So is that what I need to change them to? Yeah.
But it's also, I think I just heard that like up to the 55.
54,590.
Complete downgrade, reduce the 63 something of an SRO to starting SRO to 50.
I'm just trying to figure out where the 58 is coming from.
So Connie, what is your starting salary for a deputy?
That is 54,590.
So why do I have deputy number 4 at 55,483?
What line?
140.
See, I have expensive.
That would be starting salary.
Was it open at that point? I don't.
It's been all year. 0% youth.
Okay.
54 and 2.5 to 2.5 to the
3.5,
3.5 to the salary.
3.5 to the salary, the minimum. I can't answer that question anymore.
So going by this proposed budget, it looks like,
We don't have anybody at the minimum right now, correct? On the staff,
not,
no position, person, human being. So 4.5% of whatever that human being is right now is gonna be that much more than the starting.
Yes.
So what is being asked really is to move the starting line, starting point more than 4.5, and it doesn't, that doesn't affect anybody currently.
Okay.
Is that right?
In this contract, it shows the salaries to be 55,144. Contract just for us. On exhibit B.
Well, she had a copy of this when she filled.
Shows the salary to be 55,144 plus the benefits.
But it should be for SROs if you just put the contract, so I think you pay.
Yeah, different contract.
Okay, so on the contract, the costs were only presented B. And consulting, accounting intern,
They left.
exhibit B is easily changed. Exhibit B is just, the contract reference exhibit B. So the numbers that were put in the contract, because it was approved by the blanket ISD on the 15th, and y'all just approved it today, current numbers. We can't get possible, maybe future numbers. We have to put current accurate numbers, okay? So the current numbers is 52,744 with the certification of 2,400, which does bring it to 55 after the survey. Now, the school district understands that Commissioner's Court was going to come up with some new number, and that exhibit B would then change after the approval of Commissioner's Court to be the new number.
Sheriff, you were asking for 63,125.71 for deputy starting pay, is what you were asking. And so now you're saying you're okay with dropping back to the 58,972
For starting,
for starting.
but you understand that I'd be using the Senate bill to make up for more than that.
Right.
A deputy goes from 109 and 110.
109.
I'm sorry, keep going.
Yeah, the scary thing is that we prop salary up with a Senate bill, and then it's ripped out from underneath us. And we don't have that to continue to prop that up. How many deputies are you gonna lose at that point when we go back to them and go, okay, now? Exactly. So that's the absolute scariest part of propping up something with the state government saying, oh, this is here.
Well, I agree. The closer the county can get to a median pay, the more that 350,000 goes towards it. county with. And can be used for that.
But last year, mid-season, you pretty much forced a raise down our throats.
I didn't force anything.
By giving them.
I have-
you've already- all of them this month. So now, if I was to bump all these rates up to post them, then what's to stop you to say, do it again?
Well,
Nothing.
I don't wanna have to do that, but I can. I mean, if that's what I need to do with it.
Okay. To go from today's one salary is 58,000. Yeah. It's about 11% increase. And I'm not good. I guess it's just too much time has passed to really keep doing some good. But I definitely sympathize with the guy trying to hire people, but just not really, not. We're not posting that same spaces on it. For the honest, and the other ones. So if you only get 1%, when you get 58 for the sheriff's office. And, but I don't know if you put something that y'all are gonna need to change either, but I need to know, but you need to know that my thinking is, if to do 58, then I wanna do 11% for everyone. And I don't think that's gonna be great on the budget. It's gonna be another $500,000-$600,000.
Well,
On the court, that every person that received the SB 22 monies signed document acknowledging that the Commissioner's Court would not be held responsible for making up any difference in the upcoming budget year. And every one of them signed it, it is in their personnel policy. Because we can't guarantee the funds.
Salaries that they stood on. Or that salary study.
we don't know.
I just agree. Talk with people, talk facts. I mean, I've done my studies of all the counties, look at the counties in final thing that they say they study. None of those make us work. They're all way up. So I don't understand how they got their numbers. No, during the time. Our intent here is we need to keep them and we need to hire them. That's what we need to do. Keep them. We're losing the place. We're not able to hire them. Bridge, extend it. We get low, nobody gets it 911. I don't know if you remember the communications. I had a conversation with the official policeman that we were gonna have to close down communications because nobody was allowed. Is that where we wanna go? Do we wanna go there where we have to close down because nobody wants to work? Nobody says that I don't. No, we're gonna get there.
Is that a problem in every county in front?
No, ours is more than others because we are deadlines.
Is it true if you get the Senate Bill 22 this coming year, same as last year, and that it does it kind of portion out among both LEC folks about $75 a
If you divide it out by.
Well, so I did some math, and if you was to give everybody a 49% raise from their base salary last year.
That's nothing to do with.
Well, I know, but I'm getting to what you're asking. If you do that, you could use Senate Bill 22 funds to make up the difference and give them a $2,500 raise.
I might be true, the answer to my question is about $7,500. Do you remember that? No? Because I don't.
7,500 is what they gave this year with the exception of a couple,
And that's with the exception of one,
a couple of.
and that's spread out of LEC employees, they qualify for 6 months. I agree, but that's not my fault whether they did twice as fast for 6 months as they do.
Right.
12 months, right? But it's 75 next month. And that, whether they do it twice as fast or not, I'm adding to this. It seems to me that if we raised the minimums by the same as we're raising, as we're proposing increasing salaries, 4.5, that's gonna get us to 55,117. And 55,117 plus 7,500 is 62,617.
So what you're saying is take all the Senate bill money, $7,500 to each one qualifying. And that's what it gets them up to. Am I understanding that correctly, or am I completely missing?
It is, the other thing there is not increasing. I'm proposing to you on 3.5% COLA on the salary schedule, on people. We're now saying 4.5% COLA on the salary schedule and I didn't like that at first because it means that somebody that's at the very beginning isn't making up any ground, isn't getting better than the starting salary position. But I'm looking at everybody that's bothering me. And trying to work with the situation again.
Spending all the SB money on salary instead of part of it on.
And
For senior one.
yeah,
It's part.
and
Yeah.
if you want to do that, start cleaning stuff out of the capital.
That's right. Just back.
Yeah, that is what, that is good. Now, if 4 of you would like to. I started this with the 4.5 and I told you I want to do it for every county employee. That's where I am. And I'll certainly take you the direction that you want to make an exception.
Like 4.5, they need to send them this people to make what it do this thing.
Something comes down every year, it comes back, same thing.
So that you
Same thing.
The county, I mean, the budget stuff. Sometimes.
Usually, same thing, to, raise salaries, so you come back to us to match that, and you give them another one, the next.
I'm asking the county to pay what we deserve. And what the only way for our job is for our tax rate to keep up. That's what I'm asking.
Seems like we're chasing our tail because these other counties see what y'all doing, they just add to it, they do it, they got $100 million budget. They've got our money. And so I just see they've been doing it ever since I've been, just keep having to do theirs. Just trying to drive across the county line. I mean, you don't have many people find counties all the land on list of county.
We've had several, we've had a whole lot of them, right?
Yeah.
I don't count those that are going to the state. I think I count that as a victory for them. Originals. But police officer is a career job. And I mean, I can't even imagine people starting at that salary after graduating from.
So let me, this, we try this on you, and see if we can. I told you that if we did a 4.5% on the starting salaries, and then add 70 to that, it's 62,617. I'm looking at Sheriff Jackson and Deputy. There's no proposal, so this is sometime last year. And they got an average deputy pay of 60.25 by averaging the counties. But if you look, Vernon starting at 62.20, which is less than $102 less than what I'm suggesting. And Kendall County is 64.04, which is less than what I'm suggesting. And Gillespie is 64.23, which is $800 less than, more than once. So
the question is, your average pay, is that an open position to a position?
The start salary sergeant.
So again, I've done some math, and I could, with the Senate Bill 22 funds, you could start opening an open position at 806.50. If you use
As it stands to.
if we do 4.5%, you subsidize with your Senate Bill 22 funds, including your FICA and your fund as a rate for us, and you could start a person at 61.806 today.
Here's where I think you're gonna be ready. So we'll do.
Right.
About 4 now, first start.
Yes. So, and I mean, but obviously, I also proposed or calculated the $14,000 to one individual that we just made an increase anyway, so there's some extra money in total for SB 22 funds as well.
70 something here.
I can use it, and it just puts us right back where we are. I mean, it's the same thing. But then I'm not gonna hire an SRO, $5,000 more, $8,000 more than the beginning.
So the Rob just said the contract was.
Yeah.
Right.
Was negotiable based on what our starting salary is gonna be. So it's not gonna be the 63,1.
There's another. I mean.
Can you use
There's more
SB,
money that could be distributed.
can you use SB 22 funds for an SRO also?
Yes. Well, no, because they will be doing. We'll be working speed zones. No, it's pesos, any pesos. Yes. Well, we'll get a ruling on that, but yeah.
Yeah, the new language that came out,
Yes.
it does cover it. Also, that's SRO will be doing traffic enforcement in the zones.
No, they're just explaining. Questions that y'all have brought up.
What is the general feeling about changing primaries, get a 4.5 COLA for starting salaries as well as current employee salary.
I think that that's a bad idea, because, you know, if I've been here a year and you just hired somebody, we're making the same thing, and it's not.
That's why I had to do.
And I agree with you.
But nobody else?
I agree with Chris on that. You know, you can have a lot of animosity on that one. You're giving somebody the same raise as somebody who's been there for 10 days. And I mean, throwing a monkey wrench in it a little bit, the 61. I mean, I think, and I, Sheriff, I understand fighting for your department. I do. But to not completely deplete the Senate bill, rather than just throwing it out there as everybody gets this much to deplete it. I think we can back it off to the 58,972 number.
Well, that's what I asked.
Right.
I didn't have a problem when it was there. I have a problem when it's 54 or 55, 5543.
Right.
So you wonder, keep looking at the 7 that you study. And really the closest one that's inside, and it's still, and they can't force you is land. And you say that their starting salary is 53,593.
Right.
Which is 54 and 54.
Right.
Article 52 day.
Article 52.
It's 54 and 54.
That's
incorrect.
No, there's,
Current budget year.
she's got, I don't think she has a new one.
Yep, that was, it's open now, but it wasn't open when that computer. No, it's 52.
Taking on.
Right, last year, and that's what Atlanta made last year. Okay, but we don't know what they're making. Who knows, it's, Atlanta's gonna make 61, 2 right now.
Yeah. 5744.
That's
Right.
Yeah.
The thing he has, the 63, this is the average. Okay.
What, this current, still in this current
Yes.
budget, what is the land starting salary for this year? Okay,
Basically, back in June,
okay,
it's 53,500.
for this current budget year that we're in now.
I don't think he can prognosticate what next year going to be.
It's
But
60.
according to our budget, in this current 23-24 budget year, the salary is 54.
It's 52, 7, 4, it's right there.
Okay.
Was 54. 4.5 would be closer to. So I'm still.
So, well, if you do this program, proposal, how many classroom hours are they gonna be doing a week?
They do 40 hours a week.
They do 40 hours.
Yeah. It's,
And
sometimes, yeah, it's kind of like. the same rules would apply, it'd be 30 miles.
Yeah, I mean, and what I'm saying is, I understand trying to go and being an 8 hours. It's gonna take you an hour and a half each way.
Right.
Do you feel confident? I mean, you have 3 positions, 2 of which are at 0%, so you haven't
Right.
filled them all yet. Do you feel confident you can fill those 3 positions using this program?
Yeah, I'm hoping, I'm pretty confident, if we can pay for it, get the beginning salary.
So you have 2 positions in dispatch at 0%.
Mhm.
Can you fill them? Well, I'm saying just at 0%. I'm not saying how many other positions. Yeah.
We've been down, almost down, almost barely survived, almost shutting down. I mean. I'm trying to work with Chris, but I'm also working with
Oh,
the citizens of this county who need protection, and they pay for it.
I'm in favor of the 4.5% from the previous budget year. And then they make up the difference if there's Senate Bill 22 funds.
If we get it.
When they get it. And 3.5% on your base on the 3.5%. Because there's nothing saying that if they had a new, they couldn't budget Senate Bill 22 funds, they increase that salary.
So here's the. Right, so here, they couldn't increase the other salaries.
They can, well, as they did last year, they can pretty much do, make their department how they want it. They have 350,000 votes in the state legislation that they know.
Yeah, and I had this, I didn't want to submit the same COLA for the salary, for the minimum salary as the people who recently stated that it's some issues.
Right.
If we go to the 4.5 for the minimum salary as well as the salary increases, he just says to me, you can. Yeah, but it doesn't fix it for the rest of the county. It only fixes it for you.
Legislation hasn't given us that kind of opportunity.
So at that point, Chris, what you're saying is, I mean, the 4.5, whatever that number comes out to, and if they want to get them up to the 61, then they'll use the.
Leave that at 3.5.
Okay.
But if they want to increase that to whatever they want to increase it to, they will have to, within their department, utilize the Senate Bill 22 funds to do with how they propose. We are funding all the other equipment that they're asking for in our budget, so you have Senate Bill 22 funds that you can use on salaries. Just like you did last year.
I think it's more game. It's quickly. Three votes is the votes.
63.
0% would be 53.
No, it's 54.
54.
54,590 is a starting deputy. Yes, 54,590.
You've got. They don't have to start at 50, 45, 90. We'll still have to start road ends and.
Well,
Beginnings.
I'm gonna have to. I mean, but I'm
Starting.
okay, and that's y'all's position, and that's fine. I mean, I don't feel like, I mean, I think you're comparing apples and oranges again, and it is not that. A road crew is not the same, nor will it be what a peace officer is. Never. And do not compare us to them. I agree they're a county employee and they're very valuable. They're priceless. But I also believe that your county employees are your number one investment. And I don't think the sheriff's office is being represented correctly in that, as far as that.
So if we were to fund your salaries as you're proposing, what would you do with that 350,000?
It goes towards county. Like the perfect example was the $355,000 county.
Which we're budgeting for, we're paying. So what's the difference?
You know, yeah, I guess it's not.
If you bring somebody, you take that out, you take that out, and pay for it, and we simple, you just pay for it.
Same difference.
Exactly, yeah, but you take it out.
And if I bring your salary then, and I say, okay, you do that, something happened, oh, well, I need to bump my salary up again. Then I'm back in the position I was back in.
Well, I think we should know that. We tell you what to do.
I'm just saying.
How many hundreds of $1,000s do I turn back? A lot. Hundreds. I'm more than paid for all these rates. Because what do we turn back? Yeah, we get five.
For not spending budget that was.
Yes. Or what we bring to. But it goes back to Jim's saying, it doesn't roll over to us. And I don't spend it unnecessarily. I never have. Why would I start now? I mean, y'all, and that's.
I'm not comparing 72.
Okay.
So that's all.
Well, I'm hear that. All I hear is about my budget. Y'all have your own, budget, and I don't hear, but y'all hear y'all's budget, my budget.
So you're starting on deputy 54,500.
That's what's proposed.
Well, oh, I got that. Pretty high too.
But we'll figure out why. How did they come from?
Yes, ma'am.
No, I just had a question. I needed some clarification.
I hate this because I'm known for I guess being on the sheriff's side of things and I'm going to do today. I just feel a necessity. I feel a need to process this. I do think that I guess I'm still a thing. Let's see. If we are to go to 54,500, that's $7,000, which is 60 million. There's about Budget 62, and that puts you up with almost 5 of the 7 this year. This year.
What they should get.
Well, that's so bad. Considering we're like, okay.
With the highest cost of living. And I don't know, I hate being last, I've been making minimal students to be fine with all. Or meeting the minimal standards, it's not. And so I will fight this the rest of my terms, and we will fight like this every year, but I disagree with the way it's going. Because we're not gaining, we're not staying with what the general is staying with, the general population. And I'm not just talking about the sheriff's office, I'm talking about all paid employees.
I'm thinking there's more problems to it than just money. I mean, you've got the whole, you got the feds, you've got also up here, they've been running police, they've been shut their police department down, people are, they're a little bit weird, I don't know what you think about it, the US deputy or whatever, but you're dealing with, you just look at it differently.
Absolutely.
That's gotta be a big part, but you need more money to fix it. So that's what I'm saying, it's not y'all's fault.
Okay, so what is the point? Do we just stop and let the citizens? You know, keep us up. Keep up. Okay. I'm not to believe, I believe the county is not trying to keep up. I believe you want me to keep it by the Senate bill, which could be used for that, that's what it's for. And it's part of what it's for, but I think we could benefit the county with more equipment. I think in the long run, either way, it's gonna be coming. No, you have not. I have good, everything I've asked for.
We can change. We can't. Despite what they did this past time, I think it's pretty clear, Don Thursday was pretty clear, that it's supposed to be a commissioner court, decides what happens with the Senate Bill 22. And we can change the cameras to Senate Bill 22 remains at 5,000. And how it's not the same is, and we can raise those salaries to the ones he's asking. But how it's not the same is, we're only gonna buy cameras once, basically. And so we'll be paying that salary for now on, but there's a way for us to get there without changing any numbers that.
Just leave it where you are. We're funding it, it's funded, it's just in a different government.
Sure, we don't know what I don't want to do, and but don't blame for, you know, you stood your ground and sit here and fight for people. But for the last 2 to 3 years, this is the one that's struggling and to an emergency situation because you're down so many people. And we do a March adjustment. That's very good to do. And keep doing it.
But still, it didn't cost you.
Not a headache from now.
Well, I mean, I took it out of the emergency deal, I took it out of money that was gonna come back to the county anyway.
We did it, yeah, that's all at 10% per person. That was a short-term mandate.
Right.
You got some things, but you're careful, you're very.
And it feels.
One solution is then if the turn your department to say, it's in a, as long as you know the budget, do whatever you want to do. The problem with that is that does not conform 253 other counties that think the commissioners, boards, and the counties think that they control the budget.
No. And I'm not for that. I like to be transparent, and I want 15,000 citizens of the county to see what we're doing, see what we're trying, or what we're using. I mean, I'm being transparent, and I am transparent. Y'all know every penny that's paid.
This one did, so. But there was the. Salaries used or anything else.
No, no, I just wanted y'all to know about the other possible. We do have rewrites. I am going to do that, but I won't tell you.
Thank you. So, I'm sure you're just about what. Yeah, I have to ask, was it not really, how are we for the elections?
I think for the relevant locations, just to our expect vote for the president. We can fit it in more. Like, other than that, I think we're fine. We'll probably have to replace, like I said, some batteries, but I feel like that's. Elections.
Yeah. Anyone else? Okay.
Judge, do we want to talk on page 40? Is it that one? On the new line item?
Excuse me.
I know, but several times, and it's a fact. I am asking for a variance for self-defense. And the argument is on the other side that if you start varying at once, you're opening the door to vary every time. I consider her this particular position, this particular situation unique, and that's why I'm proposing it this way. And if you don't want to do it, I'm glad you brought it up, because I need to take it out if I'm not going to do it. It's going to get eliminated in August. I just take it out now. But I stand by it. I don't want to take it out personally.
And we wouldn't, what if we just put it at 45.92?
That's the problem. If you do that. You can do that, but she collects on an hourly basis. She won't turn in hours to get, she's not gonna turn in hours to get 45, 32 probably, so yeah, she's gonna turn in hours to get 45.9. Whatever. 902. She said, I'm done, and she's hourly, but. It's like one person shop that just happens to be different than. All right, because she could easily run these hours and she could easily be a full-time person. But she could easily do it by the demand that there is in the county for the services. Limit her to what she does, and she needs to show what she does so that she qualifies as a disabled veteran. Which is probably what. Because she gets some compensation.
So the amount of time worked is what, would you hourly, weekly?
I can easily fill 30 to be the modified full-time or full-time 40 hours a week. I can easily do that. My understanding of both state law and policy is that if I was to work 30 hours a week or more, county also has to provide me with the medical, dental, vision insurance at a cost to the county. I don't need that benefit because I am covered for medical by the VA. So it would cost the county more to give me that paid time off. That is the only benefit that I'm really missing out on is holiday pay, sick time, or vacation pay. Currently, if you look at something like Thanksgiving week, I can't work 29 hours. So I've been losing income that week, or I would have to ride the clock basically. Which doesn't seem like the best, anyway, that doesn't seem very ethical. So then I lose income because I can't work 20 minutes a week. Weeks like last week where I had state conference, it was really hard to stay at 29 and not these things just. So I just kind of stretch things as much as I can for next week, but I could easily, with the demand, I'm working some holidays and then I don't get paid any extra for. I work some weekends as events that I don't get paid any extra for. I'm only asking for the ability to have some paid time off throughout the year so that I'm not.
It should not be,
Well,
salary.
she could work more hours one week and take less hours one week to make up. She could do that.
I guess my question is, could you not pay someone a salary as opposed to hourly in that position? So she makes the same amount every 2 weeks.
Also,
You're asking for the
Total
time.
part-time. Just the ability to
Camille.
have some paid time off. If I have to make a mistake, I'm thinking I.
Well, and that's absolutely, I mean, you should take your vacation and do your stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just trying to come up with the right question.
Change from hourly to salary.
Yeah, that is.
She doesn't want the instrument, so that would change.
Just in increase that amount to make it different, make it that,
The 45,902,
right?
divide that by 26.
Yeah, and that way, when you're in conference, you don't have to worry about, trying to stay at 29, and if it's Thanksgiving week, you don't have to worry about, being docked, because you got 2 days of basically holiday, or whatever, turns out,
to have budgeted salary versus your hours.
Okay.
So it means that, it means that every 2 weeks, we get a check. And one of those, and somewhere in those 52 weeks, take a week vacation, you're still gonna get a check, like 2 weeks salary. It's just gonna get a week's vacation. Did I say that? So she can get a week's vacation?
That's what you're doing. You're giving her expectations, so it doesn't.
Well, you're all have problems with varying from the personnel policy, so that varies from the personnel policy, we don't want to do that anyway.
But you're changing her from hourly to salary.
And getting.
but it's a salary, so it doesn't, I mean, because I do know, I mean, I've been on events with you that we work on a Saturday, and you shouldn't have to do that for free. So.
But she should be taking a day off during the week to make up for that. That's how it was set up in the beginning. No, like if she works, if she knows she's gonna be at an event on Saturday, she should take off on Friday, Thursday, or Wednesday, whatever. She shouldn't work that day.
Yes, and that is what I do, is I just no more than 29 hours during that week. Veterans Day was a 10 to 12 hour day last year because there were 3 position-centered events. For me, I just get paid my regular hourly rate. Yes,
Some that go on out of state, what do you think?
for that. That away, or Thanksgiving week, or even last couple of weeks ago with 4th of July. We have that holiday that I am not working, not being paid for. I have a medical appointment. So then I do now Monday, Tuesday, Friday, I can't get. Thanksgiving week, it's really hard to get to, I have 3 days or 2 business days. I don't have any holiday pay, I don't have any sick pay.
Like, that's okay.
Sure, but it was allowed for non-exempt, but it says non-exempt employees are hourly and exempt employees are salary. So it doesn't say exempt employees have to be full-time. So I don't think that's a violation.
Have vacation with them on.
If they're salary, there's, yeah, vacation.
They don't.
Well, I mean,
You
don't.
You get vacation time.
Well, get a salary or whatever your job is.
You get the same check, 52, well, 26.
28.
26.
26.
We do our job.
Board is not in vacation. Or vacation time in particular. Salary employees do.
Just
They
get
get vacation. Our salary is
I mean,
because everyone's. So you still accrue, like Kathy and Connie, they get vacation days, they get sick days.
Yes, but I.
She's
But
not.
I'm still. Different, so a full-time.
Yeah.
They're full-time. Like, you turn in your hours, but that doesn't make it hourly.
I mean, I'm still.
She said.
If she gets paid overtime, she works over working. Well, you get comp time, you get compensated for working over 40 hours a week. Salary employees don't get compensated for working.
so who are the
Okay,
salaried?
I'm not concerned about the vacation. She gets vacation and she gets it at a particular rate because she is our employee. Yes?
Well, I thought I was, but they're saying I'm hourly. My paycheck never changes.
But how?
Full-time.
I don't.
If you took off and you're on a vacation. they're gonna-
Yeah, never had that situation.
It's-
It's.
Technically.
The same spectrum of children.
If they,
There should not be. He is responsible for her. Just like me. And when the public comes and says, well, she's never there, then, or if that was the case, I'm saying that's gonna be the case, but then that would be addressed to the board. Go to. And make that a salary position.
Can you get a paycheck?
Consistent.
2 weeks. And apparently.
It's time, it is time, depending, if you're here, you got a year, then you get 2 weeks, and then once you're here for like 5 years, you get an extra 8 hours or, no, 16, because it's 96 now, I'm at 96 now.
Start. Just make it start today, then you start. Right, over this, have to take it back to improvements.
Well, you can't give her 80 hours at the beginning of the budget. You can't do that. Normally what happens is 3.25 a pay period. And then in January, she would get 80 hours to use.
So based on 40 hours.
Yes.
Basically.
Sounds like a.
So maybe that's more complicated than, what do you wanna do? Keep it out?
I would keep it hourly and give her the vacation.
This is what I.
It's what I don't want, but
Okay.
it'd be the easiest thing.
Don't want to do the easiest thing.
When the other part of the employees there and say, well, I'm not getting vacation. They won't say.
Okay. And what do you think is gonna happen? They're going to take years long, they're going to reverse this process and have to stop. And start talking about salary, or but okay, then I'm she paid. How much is gonna pay?
Leave it alone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would don't think that's. This is a rough conversation for you, but I don't think it's anybody. Doesn't recognize the great job that.
Thank you.
Page what, I agree.
Any comments?
Anyone?
Okay, so, to be clear on what I'm doing. Page 14, I'm gonna get with them and any current open positions. I'm gonna base it off of this sheet to propose the starting salary for next year. Based, not because some people have left throughout the year and there was a name there 2 months ago, and now there's not a name, it says open. So I want to make sure that I'm gonna start these open positions at this 3.5% raise over what it should have, what a current, yeah. Right?
I think so.
And then,
I might throw a curve and.
yeah, we may work on this after lunch, and then as opposed to the SROs, at this point, it's contract price. Because that's what was presented to y'all as the contract that you approved. Yeah, 63, that's what they asked for, because that's, I didn't know what to put. So, but it doesn't need to go to contract price.
I guess the question is gonna refer back to Shelley, based on the SB 22 funds, if it can be used for an SRO.
No, but the contract that y'all approved earlier.
Obviously, that's flowing upon, happens in budget. Exhibit B.
So I'm not messing with that page for now. Get up.
I don't think the SROs are exactly the same, but I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what I need to fix. This part of me wonders if they're not more critical, because one is right. Off. And two, they are a really hard to reach environment. On the other hand, so are the deputies out there in the middle program.
Okay. To be determined.
Yes, sir.
Make those a good job.
I can't hear.
I'm sorry.
I've been sitting in a desk.